welcome everybody to the first Coach and Coach podcast. And I'm with my buddy, the other coach, Coach Benji Hare, and I'm probably the worst football coach in the world. But hey, I know how to talk football, and we are on today and we're going to try to be on every week to bring you content not only on the high school level, but on the college level and on the football level. And we hope to branch out, but it's going to be up to you. As you can see, Benji, I'm not matching, but when your high school is 3-0 and your college team is 3-0, you just got to rep both of them, man. So I got the Trojan power on, and then I got the Ole Miss M going, so I'm ready to roll today.
Absolutely. You just gotta show off everything because, when's the last time you could say that both you favorite teams are 3-0 at the same time? So you got to enjoy it and rip it.
Yeah, that is something funny when both of them at the same time. It's almost scary because you don't expect we're not used to this. So it's been so amazing that we're crazy enough to think we can do a podcast. So hey, that's where we at right now. That's where we at right now.
We got something to talk about.
Man, when you're winning, it makes you want to just go talk to everybody. So ain't no sense of us just talking to each other. We're gonna talk to everybody. Feel free to comment in the chat section. I try to do my best. Hopefully we'll get us a producer at some point to try to navigate through that stuff because, man, it is difficult trying to type stuff in and trying to roll with stuff.
I've proven I'm not tech savvy, so
yeah. So
one of us carrying this thing.
Well, one of our wives gonna have to step up and gonna have to do this producing side so they can make sure they can keep up with the chat. But I promise you, I try my best to try to comment to people when they comment on things. But I think this will be cool to be able to talk football. And hopefully we'll branch out to be able to do basketball in the winter and in the spring. We'll figure out something, man. I ain't a big baseball guy, but you are, so we can figure out a way to make that happen. So you ain't a big basketball guy, but I am. So, man, we'll just bridge
I can watch it and enjoy it, but I can't give you, the details. Baseball is popular around here, so there's plenty. We'll always have something to talk about.
Yeah. And I looked at 520 podcasts. If they could talk about baseball, I know we can, because there's no way they don't have a clue what's going on with baseball. But our mission and our goal, we want to come by every week, and it all depends on you guys. If you guys like this content, make sure you let us know. Share it. Even right now, if you're listening to us, hit that share button. Make sure that you go tell your friend, tell your other friend, to tell another friend. And we hope to every week to bring you new stuff. We hope to have guests to come on with us to talk. I would love to talk to even football players. To have them to get their perspective on things, because this is going to be something that we want. And like I said, it's up to you guys. You guys keep us rolling, man. We'll branch this thing out. And if it come to a point where we got to do 2-3 nights a week, then hey, it is what it is.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out some type of way. But just to get us started, man, the Bruce Trojans are 3-0, man.
Say it again, Coach. Say it again.
The Bruce Trojans are 3-0. When was the last time the Bruce Trojans were 3-0? Was it with y'all?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm guessing. I know that I saw a stat last week that 2-0 was in 2013, which would have been the year after me. I don't know. I hadn't seen about 3-0.
That would have been
I'm assuming that if 2-0 was 2013, that the furthest back you could go is 2013. So it's been a while.
It's been a while, man, and even the atmosphere around the school, you could tell the difference, man. Even the pep rallies are different now. So, man, I'm really loving it. Bruce started out. We started off real sluggish, man. We turned over the ball 3 times. I think 2 times inside the 20. I think we opened it up. We had a nice little drive going, and then we fumbled the football. And then we came back on the second drive. I think Faulkner scored after that. And we came back on the second drive. We threw an INT. And we had a big pass play, got to the 1-yard line, and then we fumbled again. So for us to even walk away with a win, even in Madden, you turn over the ball 3 times, you're probably going to lose the game.
Yeah, because I was standing in line getting my ticket. We were kind of late. So on the opening drive, I was standing in line when I saw the fumble. But just the fact that you could have potentially been up, I think at worst, like 14-0, and you
Yeah.
don't get that on the road, the fact that you're able to survive that and not allow them to grab all the momentum and run away with something, no, regardless of who you're playing, when you go on the road, you turn
Yeah.
the ball over, it doesn't equal success. So
It usually don't end in a win. I'm just looking at the total plays. Both Bruce and Faulkner, they ran 95 plays.
that's
Bruce had
crazy
that is a lot of
in a
offense.
high
Bruce had
school game.
in a high school game. Bruce had 51 plays. Faulkner had 44 plays.
That's a lot
Uh,
of plays.
just to give you some stat lines on that night, Aiden Welch, who started out the night for hampered, slightly hampered Josh Long. Aiden Welch was 1 for 1 for 23 yards. And Joshua Long went 13 of 19 and had 251 yards passing. He's getting close to that Davis Brownish.
Yeah. He got Davis had what? He was a 4-year starter, so I don't know what his total stats are, but when you play 4 years, there's a lot of numbers there. But
Yeah,
Josh, I'm impressed with him. I think, especially like watching him move the pocket, like the fact that he does keep his eyes downfield, looking to throw the football, but he has enough mobility to move the chains if he doesn't see it, and he'll take off. And other than maybe there was one throw down the opposite field where we were standing, I think it was
yeah,
in the second half. They had a like a comeback route that could have picked up a first down. He decided to take a shot, but
yeah.
he's really good at taking what he's given and not forcing it. And when you do that, I mean, you're going to find success, and he's been really good at that.
And he had an amazing night. But the recipient of that amazing night was our tight end, the tight end that I joke with and pick on all the time. But Caden Jones had 5 catches for 88 yards. He had an unbelievable night. And he had a huge third and 8 catch there in the fourth quarter when it was we
Yeah.
needed that first down. And man, he made a heck of a catch. The ball was slightly through behind him, and pretty much that sealed it for us.
Yeah. I wonder, from a target to catch standpoint, I would say it's a pretty high percentage. Like, he's on the season as a whole, like he's been really good. Like, it's not like a one game performance. I think he's been good all year. He's a safety blanket for Josh, and I think that you got to have confidence putting the ball in the air when a guy like Caden is out there to receive it. So he stepped up and done a good job.
And on top of that, I mean, he has a tall frame. He's a big kid. He got big hands, and he's a big target.
Yeah,
And that's what you need, especially in high school football. If you got a big target, I think about Rashad. I think about even Jay Johnson. I think about Tyreek Gunn. They were big targets. Ahmad Powell back in the 90s. They were big targets. They were big guys. Now you had the speedsters, you had the Brent Spencers, you had the Anthony Spencers. And Shaq Bush was kind of in between. And he was that possession guy that would stretch the field. But when you got that big target, that big body to throw to, man, that saves you. And on that 3rd and 8, that was a big play right there.
yeah, probably. I wouldn't say save the game, but definitely extended a drive that keeps the clock moving. So
I'm just going to read off a couple of more stats. Naquan Towns, he had 7 carries for 26 yards. Jacoby Hatchett had 5 carries, was 41 yards. He had the big touchdown. That's
really impressed with him.
pretty much sealed the game. James Gator had 8 carries for 14 yards. J.D. Gillespie, when I saw him, I call him Jerome Bettis. Well, Jerome Bettis had 9 carries for 92 yards. It was amazing. Wow. Yeah, and he was laying the wood. If they came to tackle him, if you haven't looked at it, do me a favor and go to Calhoun County's Instagram and watch number Watch number 11, Powell drives a tackler. Man, when I say he laid the wood, I guarantee that kid didn't want no more part of that. He didn't want no part of that no more. And even Joshua Long had one carry for 14 yards. So in all, we had 30 carries for 187 yards. Big night, just a big night altogether. We had 274 on the in the air, and basically almost 500 total yards. And if you can do that, you can do that in a high school game, then you're gonna be in pretty good shape. But let us talk about the big number 7 from Faulkner.
He's a good player. Like, I don't know many teams in North Mississippi that wouldn't want him. Like, he's good, and he
And
looks
he's a
like if he wore street clothes, if he just walked up in street clothes, I'd be like, yeah, he's a dude.
he looks the part. Well, Benji, he had 16 carries for 214 yards. He had an
I
amazing
figured
night.
it was a pretty high number.
Man,
Had to have some
and
receptions. He completed a pass. Like, he did a little bit of everything for him.
yeah,
He completed a long pass.
he threw 2 passes. He went 1 for 2 for 38 yards, and he also had 1 catch for 47 yards. So he was a man child. I mean, the kid was. I'm gonna see if they got his. I just want to see if they got his. They got him listed as 5'10", 205. I think they kind of being generous with the 205.
Yeah.
Because
I would have gave him like 5'10", 190 probably.
Yeah, but
But he's every bit of it. I mean, he totes it now. Like, he's a good player.
Solid kid, man, and they got it. I mean, he gave us trouble every time. I remember they flanked him out, and I said, "Oh crap! Oh crap! Oh crap!" Because when he came downhill, I won't forget when the Trojans were coming out at halftime. One of the players looked at me and said, "Coach, number 7, a grown man."
And he played like it. I mean, he toted it for him for sure.
Well, just to stay in the county, also on that night, Calhoun City, they went to 3-0 on Friday night. They had a win against a Winona team that didn't give up. Now Winona is 0-3, and I think a lot of people kind of they still stuck that Winona won the state championship 2 years ago. That means that team ain't still there. This is not professional football where you keep the same team. But just looking at the box score. They don't have it, but they was up, and then after halftime, Winona came back and made it a game.
Yeah, I wasn't there for it. Didn't look too much in it. I listened to the Miss 98 scoreboard show on the way home, and they spent a good bit of time on the game talking about it. And it did sound like one that you'd want to be there for. Like, Winona just kept kind of hanging around and clawed their way back into it, and it's kind of a barn burner at the end.
Yeah, for the ones that was there, they was telling me that, it seemed like it was another Calhoun City game. They just finna blow the team out. But Winona, I don't know what happened at halftime, but they came after halftime and they made a game of it. But it's a game that Calhoun City needs. I mean, on last year, outside of the East Webster game, they lost to Senatobia, I think, 6-0 last year. Everything else were blowouts. And then when they got to the playoffs, I think games like this will prepare them better for playoff football, because if you don't know how to win these type of games, the worst place to learn is in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, I'd rather my team, get in a close game and then find a way to win it than blow everybody out and not have a clue, what's going on when it gets to the grind and the hard part of the season. So, anytime your team can be challenged, face adversity, and you find a way to overcome it, there's positive things to take away from it. So,
and with that, just some stat lines that we had. Quarterback Harlan Pittman, he was 8 for 13 for 132 yards, and he threw for a touchdown. Bug Pittman had 13 carries for 120 yards. He almost averaged 10 yards a carry. He had 4 touchdowns.
wow.
Zay Pittman, yeah, that's amazing. Zay Pittman was 16 carries, 85 yards. Trail Doro had 1 catch for 4 yards. Shane Farmer had 2 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. Zay Pittman had 2 catches for 14 yards. Lawrence had 1 catch for 18 yards, and Kamari Sally had 2 catches for 5 yards. So Not a lot of total yards. They had 334 total yards. I'm more amazed that I'm more amazed at the fact that they gave up 333 yards. That's usually not a typical Calhoun City style defense.
Right. Yeah, that is kind of surprising.
But
But the other team tries too. I mean,
yeah. And usually in those situations, man, them teams have been there. When it's Calhoun City, I mean, everybody be like, "Hey, we done. We ain't doing no more." We know what it is. We just going to go ahead and call it a day. But kudos to Winona for sticking through. But unfortunately, Winona falls to 0-3. Another big game. A big. I'm not going to say big surprise, but Vardaman got their first win on Friday night, and they had to come back. They had to come back and catch French Camp, and they got their first win, and they was able to do it being a little shorthanded. Now, we don't have any stat line for either team, but
and it was a comeback win too, wasn't it? Like it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, that French Camp was in control of that game, and Vardaman, and the most impressive thing is that they were on the road.
Oh,
and
really? I didn't know that.
When you can win a big game on the road, that is huge right there to come from behind, because that's one of the hardest things to do. Me and you both been coaching this thing, and man, it is tough. And when you're on the road, there's something about that other crowd getting fired up, man. You try to figure out a way to try to stop the bleeding, and it's a rough thing to do.
Right. Yeah. And I've seen Vardaman in person. I do think they're a team that plays really hard. I thought that against Bruce, I guess last week, going on 2 weeks ago, they just kind of looked like they ran out of gas early, but they never quit. And then I think, we've seen their head coach was at South Pontotoc, and he found a way for them to be competitive in a division that I would say he was under-resourced from a talent standpoint and a resource standpoint. So you got to think that knowing the type of kids they have at Vardaman that play hard, and it seems like that's a place that the culture is really good. Like they buy into the football program and support it, that he'll find a way to have some success there. So,
and that's a culture shock. I mean, when you come from South Pontotoc, I remember we played their junior high last year, and they had almost 60, 70 junior high players compared to our maybe 20 at the most. Yeah. So, you go from that plethora of players to now you having to try to scrap and get players together. So big win for Vardaman. Kudos to them. All three teams in the county got a victory. So, hey,
everybody's happy going to work on Monday.
Yeah, happy. We'll take that all day long. Just looking towards next week. Bruce will go to Coffeyville next week, and then we will be at homecoming. There is now I don't want to jinx them, and I don't want to scare nobody, but there is a strong possibility that Bruce can open up 5-0, and if that do happen, now I hope that the players. I did tell them this week I felt like the team was going to come out a little sluggish, because one thing about it, when you're not used to success, that even when success happens, you tend to kind of start to feel yourself a little bit. Not saying our players were doing that, but I just felt like it was going to be a little jet lag, and it showed in their first half. But I believe that because that happened, I don't think they're going to be dropped. I don't think they're going to drop the ball against Coffeyville this week.
And kind of talking about, we had talked about Calhoun City needing to face that adversity, Vardaman having to come from behind win. I do think going on the road where you struggled early and then being able to overcome that, I do think that'll help Bruce later down the line, because I know that it ended up being, an 11-point game, but there were some moments, Coach, we were standing there like, I don't know. Yeah. So, it's good that they were able to find a way to overcome all that.
The score don't indicate how close that game was. Like that game was boom, boom. And me and you both were sitting there nervous, going back and forth. we're looking at the clock, hoping the clock will leave. We counting team timeout and everything, man. So that stuff got crucial at the end. But like you said, and when you can win those type of games, then you put yourself in good position. Now, Coffeyville dropped one in their rivalry with Water Valley. They lost 55-6 at Water. Yeah, this year Coffeyville numbers are not looking very good right now. They have been outscored. Uh, they've been outscored 157-20.
Wow.
Now they do have a new coach over there, and you know when you change coaches, that's a culture shock. When you're used to the same system, whether it was successful or not, that's what you're used to. So they're gonna have it's gonna take them some time to build what they're trying to build back up. But we're at a point now that I build what you got to build, but we ain't worried about you building this week because
Right.
we trying to get a win, and we're not trying to wait on whether you getting it together or not.
And
And
don't overlook them because I've seen it when I played my junior and senior year. We played Coffeyville. My time as a coach, they do get up for that game. Like when they play, it seems like the Yellow Bush of Calhoun deal.
yeah,
We've seen it with Vardaman. We've seen it with they played Calhoun City in the past years
but
ago. Well,
coach, granted, now they had an extra incentive during those years.
yeah,
There was a certain head coach there that helped create this Trojan brand. And I'm gonna tell you from experience, I coached at Coffeyville. Whenever we played Bruce, my players knew it, no matter how much I tried to say this is just another game, they knew it wasn't just another game.
right.
And I'm pretty sure with the talent that Coach Jackson had, they knew, okay, we about to play Bruce. We got to come with it. And and each time I know they messed us up. That first year I was back with Coach Ray, we went over there and the next thing I know that the sun was in our eyes, and I guess the sun was in the players' eyes too. It wasn't a good night. It wasn't a good night at all. So I was just like, man, this is just a rough time right now. So they had some extra incentives back then. So I don't know if that same incentive is there. And I'm telling you, you got to deal with a running machine and a passing machine on the Bruce Trojan side.
Now, I do think that I agree with you. I do think offensively, Bruce can just attack you in a lot of different ways. I do
Yeah,
think that, and then I know like over time, Bruce has had speed at positions, but as a entire team, I do like that's the one thing I noticed being gone for about the last 3 years and then coming back because I do concession stand reviews. I'm gonna plug that now. You can go check it
yeah.
out on TikTok every
Put
Friday. But so I've been
Hey,
going back,
type
and
that
I
in.
am.
Make sure you type that in the comment section. We got to plug our stuff too, man.
Yeah, I got to plug our stuff. But I am impressed as an entire team, a unit on offense and defense. The speed seems to be coming back that we always had in the past. So it's good to
And,
see.
and kudos to the coaching staff. So many times, when players win, it's the players. When the team lose, it's the coach's fault. I get to see them every day, and kudos to them because they have managed a way to try to unite the team. I even go back to that South Pontotoc game. In the past, that was a loss. It was just being able to keep the team going and to have Coach Allen back. Now he didn't have a good defensive night Friday night, but one of the things I told him, I said, "Man, take this ugly win. I take that before I take a pretty loss."
Win is a
And
win.
he's very passionate about his defense. I'm pretty sure he come in. I'm pretty sure he was up. He kind of reminded me of you because you would let stuff go, and he'll see me Monday, and he'll probably still be shaking his head Monday. But that's how much it means to him that his defense perform in a way that to make sure that they're not the reason. But when you're dealing with a big machine like number 7, man, sometimes you just gotta say, hey, we got knocked out, we got hit, but we kept on our feet.
It is a really good staff. And going back to the speed and strength thing, when Darbone got there, I mean, there was a big emphasis on his strength and conditioning program and speed training, and it's paying off. And
Yeah,
so give credit to him for implementing it and selling something in a way that the kids would buy into it. Because I
yeah,
think that over the years, that's been kind of difficult in the era of high school football now. I'm sure it's something. There's just so much kids can do and get into now compared to way back when. The fact he was able to get them to buy into it, that's good on him.
And like you just said, they got that home run hitter, the freshman Jacoby Hatchett. Man, I feel like if he get any type of space, he's gone. And you still got Gator. Gator unproven himself to be a strong running back. Got to protect that back. Got to protect that football. But he's still a strong running back. And then when you got a bruiser like J.D. Glassby coming through, like that is a great combination. When you got to deal with speed. And then when you want to say, okay, I'm tired of this, and then you want to put some speed out there, and then now you got to tackle a 220-pound running back that's running full steam ahead of you, then it calls for some trouble. And then when you want to stack the box to stop that, then you got receivers that can stretch your field. You still got Jermaine Jackson. Jermaine had a great game on that night as well, and he's still a field stretcher. You still got. And you still got Aiden Welch, who's a good possession receiver who can make that slant catch, and he could bump his head. He could bump his head on the goalpost as well. So we have man. It's probably one of the best complements of each other that I've seen since y'all guys played.
I do agree with that. I think that's the best way to say it. I think the group complements. They're complementary of each other. There's a gel there. And it's working for them, so I hope it continues.
All right, on this week, Cal City will be traveling to 3-0 Senatobia. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a big game. Senatobia has been handling business themselves. They beat New Albany a couple of weeks ago, 48-32. They had a close game in their first game with a school out of Memphis. They won 21-20, and then they ramshack Independence 42-0. So this is going to be a big game at Senatobia. So this will be a good test for Cal City to see where they at and to put them on the road. Vardaman will be at home versus Myrtle, which is our division, a team that's in our division. So
I have to pay attention to that one.
Yeah, somebody needs to go over there and watch that game and write some stuff down for us because we need to know let us know what's going on, man. Matter of fact, they play 2 games back to back of division teams. They got Water Valley next week, so
yeah. Somebody let us know.
Now it is one game I wanna touch on, not for the but looking at the fact because we have been in this situation. We've been in this situation a long time. Oxford and Lafayette.
Knox Kiffin.
I wasn't at the game. But when I saw the scores, it kind of knocked me for a loop. 6-3-20. And anybody that was at the game chime in, but I'm looking at the box score. At first quarter, it was 7-6. At halftime, it was 28-13. And Oxford dropped 21 in the second quarter and dropped another 21 in the third quarter. They decided to say, you know what, we are going to do this and we're going to make sure that you don't get nothing out of it. And Oxford, I believe, they improved to 3-0 on the season.
They get Tupelo next week. This week.
Yeah,
I think it's in Oxford.
But that's the beauty of it. They get Tupelo and Oxford, so that's going to be a big game. And so anybody that's covering that game, man, give us a shout out. Let us know if you go to the game. We'll bring you on. We'll bring you on so we can talk about Oxford and Tupelo next week because that's going to be a big game. We got a lot of big games going on in our surrounding area with Cal City going to Senatobia, 2 undefeated teams, and then you got Oxford and Tupelo. So that's going to be a big game. So high school football, I'm not going to say it's back like it went somewhere, but it seems a little bit different. Maybe because we're part of the conversation now.
Yeah. That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, when you ain't part of the conversation, when people get to talking about their doctorates and all of that, I'm not a part of that conversation, so I don't too much. I zone out. So now that we're part of the conversation, when we're in the house too, I want to get some. I want to get some of it too. Now, I will say, on the Bruce side, who would you say was the player of the game of that game?
I'd probably have to go with. Because I'd like to know his defensive stats too. I'd probably have to go with Caden Jones.
Caden Jones.
Yeah.
And he's not a primary defensive guy. He usually come in to expel outside linebacker. But I'm with you on that. Caden Jones, not only just sometimes people be like, well, y'all just looking at the 3 touchdowns. Well, when you look at the totality of the game, and he had some big, because a couple of those touchdowns were huge. The third touchdown that he scored was a huge touchdown. Now, I will say this before we get off the high school level. Probably, I'm gonna go a little earlier. We're gonna have something what we call, my favorite word is what the heck. So we was gonna have what the heck bonehead play of the night on high school and college. I would have to say Faulkner going for it on 4th and 1 on their own 5-yard line.
Yeah, I don't know how I could. I don't know how I could come up with anything different. That made zero sense because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the drive before that they did force a stop because the punt
Yes.
was the reason why they were down there.
Yes.
I don't think, and I do think Bruce gets good field position with a punt, but I would rather them. I'd rather try to get a stop than just give them the ball right there. And I mean, that was. I agree with you.
That's
I don't know if
crazy.
I could come up with one better than that. So
That play mirrored Coach Jamal's junior year, I believe. Independence, they had the game sealed, and Bruce, we were out of timeouts, and I guess they wanted to just prove that they can dominate us, and went on a 2nd and goal with Bruce with no timeouts, and there's probably I think 40 seconds on the clock. They threw the football, and
wow.
Jonathan Armstrong had pressure on that quarterback. He threw that ball in the air, and Chase caught that pick. I mean, Chest Die, my bad. Chest Die caught that pick. And I never saw a white guy run that fast before in my life. But Chest Die got up that sideline. I did not know Coach Ferguson was that fast because he beat him to the end zone and telling him to come on. And he took that thing 93 yards. And
Wow.
we went for 2 and won the ball game. So that play that Faulkner did almost kind of remind me of what Independence did back in 1998. It didn't really make sense to do it, so that was a bonehead play. But thank you. I remember when they did it, I said, Coach, if they don't get this, they just gave us 8 points,
Yeah,
and that's exactly what they did. They just
and it
gave us eight
did.
points. And
And
when you're
believe they
only
burn a timeout
yes,
deciding if they wanted to. Like, I
because
mean,
I thought they was going to punt it. I was like, go ahead and punt this ball. You're only down by 2. Punt this ball and get out of there. But they went for it. And kudos to the Trojan defense because they dug down and that front wall of JB and who else? I think KD might have been out there at the time, and Tylen Eccles and man, they put their hands in the ground, and they did not allow them to create another line of scrimmage that gave them linebackers an opportunity to get in there and dislodge that ball. And we was able to get the ball in a great place, and we did what we had to do.
yeah, speaking of, JB's another guy that I know I mentioned his name a few times while we were standing there. I'd like to see how coaches believe he graded because I thought I saw a few plays where I was like, they haven't had that where a guy can just
Yeah.
slant a gap and make a play. Like, it's different.
For his size, he's very quick.
He is
He
like,
is he is cat like quick for his size, and once he get up in there, and one thing what I love about the defensive line this year, they do their job.
yeah.
They do their job. They for the most part they try not to come off. Like we might be having some technical difficulties, Benji. So let me make sure on our end. I might have to reset the. But we'll keep on talking. I'll just plug it back in.
Okay.
Just hold 1 second. I'll get us plugged back in. Sometime it just roll with it, and sometime it don't. We're gonna keep it rolling. Okay, look like we might be back. Look like we might be back on. I think we're back on.
Okay.
But yeah, for the most part, man, he is. I love the way he play. I love the way the defensive line play. So, if anything else to go on the high school level, is anything else we need to touch on high school level?
Feel like we covered a bunch, especially to have not only seen one game. Like, I didn't get home and see any Friday Night Fever or
Yeah.
End Zone. I just listened to a radio show and trusted what they were saying.
Well, let's take it on up the Highway 9 and a back and forth headache last night as Ole Miss improves to 3-0, but they did not. You know, Arkansas have been a thorn in my side for so many years. I always think about the 6 overtime, 7 overtime, and everybody loves to celebrate it. But I had to remind somebody, hey, we lost that game. I don't
Yeah.
want to talk about that game. Or the what was it, 4th and 28?
4th and 25.
4th and 25. Game should be over with, and we allowed them. So I have not had good success with Arkansas. I hate Arkansas, but last night they didn't break my heart for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Coach.
for the now, Austin Simmons was out last night with an ankle injury, and if you saw him in the game, he is legit hurt.
And I think it's more than I think it's more an ankle, Coach, because I wasn't there, but seeing the live broadcast, the running play, I think him running affected it, not him getting hit. I think and then they would show him on the sidelines, and he was limping on before he's called into action, just walking around, he's in pain. And they're
now
saying lower ankle. I think
I
it's
bet
more.
he aggravated that during warm-ups. We I'm always there to watch warm-ups, and he looked at fine coming out of the tunnel. He come out and did his thing, and I never put eyes back on him. I was shocked when I saw that Sportsbook still had Trinidad as the quarterback, and I was like, well, Simmons looked like he's going to play tonight because he didn't look bad in warm-ups. Now, granted, I didn't really fixate my eyes on him during the rest of the warm-ups because I was trying to look at other things. But he didn't look bad in warm-ups. So when he didn't start, I said, okay, maybe this injury is a little bit serious. So when he came in, I wasn't aware that Trinidad had got hurt. He had busted up his hand. So
Yeah.
when they brought Simmons in, I was like, well, and then when they ran him, I was shocked. I said,
Yeah.
well, maybe he's not really hurt until I saw him walking after that.
Yeah, he was definitely bothered, and it's the wrong leg to be bothered on because that's your drive leg throwing. And he already has kind of a problem with floating the ball. So I think we're going to see Chambliss for a while. I think it got re-aggravated to a point where I don't could be wrong. I mean, they don't have to be truthful on an availability report till 90 minutes before the game, but he looking at him last night, I just don't know how much of an availability he's going to have for a while.
Do you think Austin Simmons kind of pressed because he kind of know that if this kid come out and do, because I'm going to tell you something. I watched Chambliss last night, and compared to what I saw the first 2 games with Simmons, he looked miles ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't think you. I don't think he's thinking that way because this team through the portal was recruited for him. I mean, it's been given. He has been given the reins to it. I think it was. I hate to put a percentage on anything, but say he's 80% next Saturday.
Mhm.
He's starting. I mean, it's still his team. But if you're an Ole Miss fan, you've got to be glad you've got a guy like Chambliss who can fill in. Um,
Do you think that kind of that's just a Kiffin thing? Because you do remember with Matt Corral. I think he had what was the 5 interception game,
against Arkansas.
and we had a suitable backup that ended up transferring because he never got a shot. And Kiffin is if Kiffin roll with you,
Yeah,
whether the backup play great or not, Kiffin is going to stay with what he's rolling with.
Kiffin reminds me of the pro model. Like he definitely has his guys, and I mean they don't sub a lot. There's probably very capable guys standing on the sideline. They just don't sub when he gets his group that he's got. That he believes has the continuity and can do the job he's asking of them. He rolls with them. So um, I
I
think
like it.
that Chambliss is probably going to be the guy for a while, but I don't believe there's a quarterback controversy as of today.
Well, I put it out there. I planted the seed. I hope somebody catch the seed and run with it. But just to look at the numbers on last night, Chambliss was 21 of 29, very efficient.
Yeah.
353 yards. Just to play to that, his sports book stat line was 179 yards.
Really?
That's what his stat line, his sportsbook stat line, and I think they had it. I think the odds of it was like a negative 120, 130, 179 yards, and he threw for 353 yards. Now he only had one touchdown. Rushing, he had 15 carries. He was the leading rusher on the night as well. Had 15 carries for 62 yards. Q1 Lacey had 17 carries for 44 yards. Damian Taylor had 4 carries for 9 yards. Austin Simmons had that 1 carry for 8 yards. And then Harrison Wallace had 1 carry for 1 yard. Wallace was the lead receiver last night, had 6 catches for 92 yards. Caden Lee, which we'll talk about him in a second, he had 3 catches for 75 yards. Deuce Alexander had 4 catches for 70 yards. Daquan Wright, which I wish they would have got him more involved. I will figure out a way to force feed him that ball. He had 1 catch for 64 yards. Keywan Lacey had 4
He only
catches.
had 1 catch?
He only had 1 catch last night for 64 yards. Lacey had 4 catches for 40. Logan Diggs had 1 catch for 13. The Striblin had 2 catches for 6. So pretty spread it out once again, with Wallace starting to remind me of another Wallace that was at Ole Miss at one point. But let's talk about Caden Lee.
What you want to talk about?
What's going on with him, Coach? Because this is not the same Caden Lee that we saw last year.
Well, I think that his expectations have heightened. Obviously, he's the returning guy.
Yeah.
And I really don't know.
He haven't been targeted a lot this season because even Simmons haven't really targeted him a lot. I did see in the Kentucky game, you could see he was getting frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell him when you've been a coach and you read body language, you know when players are getting frustrated. They know what to say in the public, but you could tell he was getting frustrated. He's getting frustrated. And I think they tried to force targets on him this week. But even in the forcing of the targets, he had a huge drop last night.
Ends the game if he catches it. It's game over. And it's behind him, but we've seen him make that catch in the past. I've listened to former college coaches on different podcasts say that they're not bought in on the Caden Lee stock. That he's a good player, but he's not that. And I will say, I think that Trey Wallace he's the guy. He's got the speed. I think the receiving group as a whole is fast, and I think that Caden Lee is going to be I think he's a guy that has a role within it, but he's not a front line guy like everybody tried to. I think based on size and everything, that wasn't fair for him anyway. I just think he has a role in the receiving corps, and just hopefully he maximizes the role he has.
So do you think that was he was a product of Watkins and all of those guys that was there, that he was able to just, because you can't double everybody. You can't double everybody.
When I think Trey Harris being on the field made Caden Lee a better receiver. I think that's probably one of the best ways to think about it. And he's a really good route runner. I don't want to take away he looks very crisp, quick with his feet on route running. I just don't think he is a front line guy like they tried to pass him off to me in the offseason.
He's more of a compliment and not the main course. He's appetizer.
Right.
And they're trying to push him to be defense. Ole Miss defense. What's going on there? Because we are not looking very good right now defensively.
I thought you got some good teach tape, because all night, whether it was the power read, the counter read, zone read, I just thought that kind of look like the defense last year, except I think last year's defense was fast enough to make up for it. Is they're very aggressive, and
Let me throw a
Taylor
number.
Green was pulling that thing and out the gate with it.
Let me tell you a number that's very disturbing in the SEC.
Okay.
The worst defense in the SEC is Kentucky. Guess who's the second worst?
Us.
Oh, we're giving up 381 total yards a game. We are the worst. We're the worst in this, almost the worst in the SEC. And when you talk about a team like LSU, Texas, I think we play Oklahoma this year. You cannot be giving up almost 400 plus yards a game.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to. Hang on, okay.
All right.
You definitely don't want to get in a situation where every week becomes a track meet. But I do think that they have good players, and I think they'll get better. I do think Arkansas. I really like Taylor Green. Like I think you faced one of the better. Like I think he's an underrated quarterback in this league, and I think that
The way he managed that offense last night. Now I'm not crazy. I'm not saying he's him, but with how he ran that read, almost Tebow-ish. Not saying he's Tebow, but the way he ran the read option last night was amazing because our poor number 8 who don't know how to take on the outside shoulder and continue to dart to the inside and just no containment whatsoever. He made him look pretty crazy. This is another stat that bothers us. We're dead last in rushing defense. And it's by a long, it's about 50 yards. We're almost giving up 200 yards a game.
But you've played two very run-heavy offenses. You know, if there is a silver lining, but I will be honest, I think that linebacker they're not as good as they were a year ago. They would have really liked Pupal to come back one more year with Daugherty. I think that would have fixed some things. And then I think from a defensive line standpoint, I think they're good, but they're not. Like, what's their havoc percentage? I'd like to know that. Like, they don't, they're kind of like we do our job. But last year, you'd have a guy like Walter Nolan that would just take a double team, throw it 5 yards in the backfield, and make a play by himself. And they don't. Now they don't have that. So
and championship football can't be doing your job. You gotta be special in order to get into that situation. And plus, we're in a conference that's just not fair. I mean, it is what it is. And we're in a conference that's just not fair. Like that, the conference we're in is it's crazy. It's just not fair.
Well, I mean, think about like the bottom of your conference a year ago is Mississippi State. I can make a case that they're a 7-5 team this year.
Yeah,
at worst.
I see that because the Arizona State game was big. It was big for them.
I mean, I can make a case where they're better than that, but I'm saying at worst they're a 7-5 team. So, you got to show up every Saturday, and there's different offenses in the league. Like I do think it's a week to week thing. I think you'll see us play better defensively against a certain style of offense than you may have seen here and there, but I do think that if we play a team kind of like how I expect Oklahoma to be, we're gonna struggle.
Just to run down the scores from the SEC this week, you had LSU over Florida 20-10. You had Georgia over Tennessee in overtime 44-41. Had Texas and Arch got booed at home. But we'll get to that in a second. But Texas was 27-10 over UTEP. A&M was 41-40. That was a good game. 41-40 over Notre Dame. Vanderbilt, who's probably on their way to being in the top 25. Vanderbilt went to South Carolina, and they didn't just beat South Carolina. They took a switch with them, probably an educated switch, to where South Carolina didn't realize that they were getting hit, because them smart jokers at Vanderbilt probably done create something where you can get hit and not even know you're getting hit. They beat South Carolina 31-7. Oklahoma was 42-3 over Temple. Ole Miss 41-35 over Arkansas. Alabama 38-14 over Wisconsin. Auburn 31-15 South Alabama. Missouri beat up on Louisiana. I guess LSU will get them back for that. 52-10. Mississippi State beat the dog crap out of Alcorn. Matter of fact, I believe in the second half they reduced the time to 10 minutes to keep it from being worse than what it was. They won 63-0, and Kentucky beat Eastern Michigan 48-23. Vanderbilt over South Carolina.
Yeah, look like Diego Pavia is that guy. Like
He
is a
that
do
guy.
everything guy. I saw him lead block. Like I thought he was gonna get a targeting call. Like he's a lead blocker on the play. He
got that Baker Mayfield attitude. Like he is tough.
He's
I
who
love him.
Chambliss reminds me of.
I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
And
I love him.
I saw advanced stats. He didn't force a lot of throws. Like he had a .74 EPA on his passes.
Ooh,
and
man.
106 of his 177 yards were after the catch. So he just took care of it. Found his check downs and let his team handle the rest. And then looked like, kind of as always, a very effective runner too for him. So I think they're a team that's.
And sometimes that's what you got to do.
14.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
In this league, like
scary, like it.
Now they have a stretch of games that's. I was listening last night. I think it's like Missouri, Texas, Alabama, LSU. If they can navigate them 4 games. Schedule. Hey, let me. Well, they got talk to them real quick, Coach. I got to take care of something real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, Vandy got Georgia State next Saturday. Then they got Utah State. So both of them are winnable games. Then they have to go to Alabama. And then they got LSU, and they got Missouri, and they got Texas, and they got Auburn. So you got 5 SEC games that you could very possibly go 0-5 because those are some tough games, and you got to go to Alabama, and you have to go to Texas. And then they wrap up the season with Kentucky and Tennessee. So if they handle their business with Georgia State and Utah State, and beat Kentucky, then you can very well look at Vanderbilt being bowl eligible. And then all you have to do is you steal one of those games between Alabama, LSU, Missouri, Texas, Auburn, Tennessee, in which I think the Missouri and the Auburn game are winnable. I think they got a chance they could steal that game. They could steal that game because, they're not great dominant teams, and then you get both of them teams at home. So if they figure out a way to win those games, then they could very well end up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They could be 7-5. But that stretch of when you got Alabama at Alabama, and then the next week you got LSU, and then you got Missouri, then you go to Texas, then you got Auburn. That's a tough stretch.
Yeah, Diego Pavia is undefeated against Auburn. Though. He's got wins at multiple stops.
I think Missouri and Auburn, and it's at home, I think they're winnable games.
That's where you got to manage it. Like that, if you can manage it, get one of them. I
feel in that 5-game stretch, you pull off one, you're in a boat, and that's saying a lot for Vandy. You want to be in the boat. But just speaking of Pavia had 275 against Charleston Southern, had 93 yards against Virginia Tech. And then he only had 177 yards against South Carolina. But, I mean, like you said, he's putting the ball in a spot where the players can make the plays. Sometimes you just got to get out the way. Let the players make the play. You don't have to be a part of it. You don't have to say, well, I dropped off a good deep ball. I mean, just get out the way and let them make a play.
Yeah, he was effective in every way.
All right, one more thing. Arch Manning, is he getting the unfair treatment, or is it Is it just, hey, it comes with the deal? Because they made Arch the Heisman front runner.
I do think that.
Got all of maybe.
Well, I think like when I think of Arch, I kind of think of how Ole Miss, which I know he got treated that way on a national level, but Ole Miss fans decided that they sh- they were angry that Austin Simmons wasn't getting Heisman conversation preseason. I mean, it's different when you're actually going to play these games. So um, there's an adjustment that's when you go from sitting on the bench to being the guy, and it's
Yeah.
different starting every down than coming in and mop up duty or for a series here and there. But I think criticism is warranted with all these kids. Like they're getting paid. Like they have the right to be criticized. But
Exactly.
I do think that he's definitely. I mean, it's obvious he's going through some kind of learning curve because it's not been good.
Who has been a quarterback that just came in and just handled it, on that level? Have it been a quarterback that just okay, the expectation, almost like a LeBron James when he got to the NBA, there was an expectation for him and he delivered. Have it been a quarterback in the beginning of the season that has not proved himself, but had them accolades on them and they held their own?
Well, I mean, that's another like it's a good point because you can point out really good college quarterbacks like Johnny Manziel, but he didn't have the Heisman hopeful stuff in the preseason. You could point out a lot of people. So
So my question is it fair? I know the criticism come with it, but is it fair to Arch to be put at a level that he hadn't earned? Because no matter what, your last name is Manning,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and
I don't think I would say it's not fair because I mean the media just gushes over him. I mean he didn't ask for that, like
yeah,
But at the
your last
same
name Manning.
time, you're the guy at Texas, like you're the guy at the University of Texas, one of the biggest brands. You've got to deliver. So you're going to get the heat. Like I'm sure he knew if this doesn't go well, like fair or not, he had to know he was going to get the hype and
I guess the Heisman hype was the thing that kind of got me. I like they you really put it out there when you threw the Heisman out there, but hey, it is what it is. Um, so that we'll wrap up our college on that one, and I do want to go over the scores over the NFL and touch a couple of subjects on that, and then we'll turn it over to the mass public and let them critique us later on. Go ahead and share this video if you can. Even if they ain't watching it live, share it anyway. Put it on their page. Share, and let us know. Talk to us. Let us know what we need to do. Let us know what we did good. Let us know where we messed up. On today, the Bengals defeated the Jaguars 31-27, but Joe Burrow went down
he
with
left early.
and it was a significant injury, and he did not return. The Cowboys
That was
edged
a
the
crazy
Giants.
game.
Yeah, there was no defense at the end, and they ended up winning it in overtime.
Russell
Um,
Wilson looked like because it was weird. I'd heard all week that Jackson Dart might get some playing time this week,
yeah,
and I'm a Titans fan, so I've got the Titans on
I
suffering, and I
feel
see
like
a score update, and I'm like, let me just tune over here and make sure this ain't what I
they're
think it
going
is. It
they're
wasn't.
going to
Russell
wait.
Wilson,
They're
he
going
looked
to
like
wait.
old vintage him.
They're going to wait till the Giants are about 2-7 or 3-9, and then they're going to go ahead and make the decision. The Lions took the Bears out to the woodshed,
Yeah,
52-21. Uh, the Rams, unfortunately, laid your Titans on the ground and told them to go to sleep.
I'm not even gonna
Uh,
get to enjoy a rebuild. Like it's just not fun.
Hey, but Pollard had 20 carries for 92 yards, so
Yeah,
he's dipping into the because it's crazy that we look at Pollard as being old. He's with the
yeah,
Cowboys for so long that it seemed like Pollard is old now, like he's an old, aged running back. Pollard may not be no more than 28, 29 years old, but we look at him as just man, he's been in the league a long time. The
yeah.
Patriots The Patriots beat the Dolphins 33-27. Is it time, or will it be? Will McDonald be on the hot seat? Because it's not looking good in Miami.
I don't see why. You know, they've had a window. You had the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, Patriot. They're
Yeah,
not with the Patriots. You've had, I mean, you've had to deal with Josh Allen, but I would think that they had a window and that window's closing. So do you
it's
create a new
close.
window? Like,
It's
they've
closing.
they've definitely got something to think about. Probably, well, I would say after looking at the last 2 weeks, I would say the window's closed. So
Yeah.
it's time to start thinking about it.
You got a disgruntled receiver. You got an injury-prone quarterback. You have shredded your defense because you ain't got rid of everybody and anybody that can cover anybody. A-Chan, sometimes he okay, sometimes he not. Sometimes he hurt, sometimes he going. And I just think the old happy-go-lucky Mike, McDonald, let's go guys. And I think that's now when you're not winning, now it starts to annoy
Yeah.
people. So I do believe that there will be a reunion in San Francisco for him very soon. Um, the 49ers defeat the Saints 26-21 in a game that went back and forth. And Matt Jones, who played for the injured Brock Purdy today, he was 26 of 39 for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Bills beat the Jets 30-10. The Seahawks beat the Steelers 31-17. I'm enjoying that because anytime somebody lose in that division, I'm loving it. My Ravens, who
They got a big win.
well, about time they didn't blow the lead. I was afraid at 41-17 that we'd find a way to let Cleveland come back, and all of a sudden Ford would have exploded for 200 yards rushing. My thing is, what in the world happened to Derrick Henry today? He was terrible. Now I understand Cleveland do have a good run defense, but I would have never thought that 22 yards. I think that's all he had was 22 yards.
Oh,
Let me
really?
make sure. He was 11 carries for 23 yards.
Well, they made sure that somebody was. That's where you got your 41 points from. Someone else was going to have to beat you, and y'all found a way to do it.
Uh, he me- he messed up my props today. I could care less what he did today. He shouldn't have fumbled the ball last week, and we'll be 2-0. But he decided to fumble, so I can't even. I get scared when we get a lead. The Colts edge. Whoa, man! Danny Dimes. They finna start having to apologize to Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones was 23 of 34 for 316 yards passing. Taylor, 25 yards for 25 carries for 165 yards. The Indianapolis Colts are starting to look like a machine right now. So
Yeah. In a division that, they ain't going to take much.
yeah, I mean, and Daniel Jones have maybe it's the Giants organization.
I kind of wonder.
Did Eli curse the Giants when he left? I don't know, but quarterbacks go there to die. We got a free Jackson Dart. Free him. Get him out of there. Get him out of there. The Cardinals beat the Panthers 27-22. The Eagles just defeated the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 0-2. And Patrick Mahomes for the
That
last
window
two.
is closed. I'm
He
here
for
to
the
say it. Hot take. That window's
yes.
closed.
The whole. This is why I can't compare him to Tom Brady. He was 16 of 29. That was 13 misses for 187 yards. The last 2 weeks, he's been very, very average. And that was something Tom Brady was never average. Even at 67 years old, Tom Brady was still Tom Brady. He's the reason I hated the Patriots. I don't hate the Chiefs because I don't feel that they're dominant. I hated the Patriots because they was like the Chiefs play the Ravens, but I don't look at the Chiefs like I don't hate them because I don't see them as a dynasty or dominant. I hated the Patriots because they were always going to be in the Ravens' way. So I'm like you. That window might be over with. So and then on Thursday night, the Packers defeated the Commanders 27-18. And on tonight, we got the Falcons versus the Vikings. Falcons are 0-1, and the Vikings are 1-0. And
That's a sneaky, good, not, when I think of Sunday night football, I think of your big market brand teams. That's a sneaky good, like low mid tier market game, right?
The total is 40. That 44.5 is the total, and they got Minnesota as a 3.5 favorite. These televised games, I think everyone have went over their total except that opening night game with the Eagles and the Cowboys. I guess they're being very generous. I guess they're trying to get people to bet more. I guess they're trying to be very generous
I
with that
mean,
total.
looking at some of the scores today, I could see it. Like the trend in the league, right?
Woo!
Offenses are rolling.
No defense. It's no defense. That's exactly what's going on because let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 teams scored at least 30 points.
Yeah, and we got 2 games tomorrow night. Two
Yeah, we
Monday
got
night games.
2 games tomorrow night. We got the Buccaneers versus the Texans, and the late night game will be the Chargers versus the Raiders. So that's going to be a good game because you know how Harbaugh like to just put it in that running back's hand and slow the game down. That's going to be a boring game because he's at a point he's not going to let Justin Herbert destroy the game. You're going to do it my way. And the formula has worked for Harbaugh. So, and that total is 46.5. I don't believe that's going to happen. And the Buccaneers, I'm shocked at this one. The Buccaneers and Texans got a 42.5 total. The Texans with a rebuilt offensive line. I was shocked that they survived. And I was shocked that C.J. Stroud wasn't sacked as many times as he should have been because their offensive line has changed drastically. They got young guys on the line, and that's been one of the major concerns this season is their offensive line. But 42.5 is a low total, I think. I think both totals. I think those totals should have been switched. I think the Chargers and the Raiders should have been 42.5, and I think the Buccaneers and Texans should have been 46.
Right.
So that's what we got going on tonight and tomorrow. And my brother, we made it through our first show.
Hey, we made it, and I've always wanted to do this, so it's kind of crazy how fast the first one's gone. But I look forward to many more.
Yeah, man, we went over and we went over an hour. See, that's the thing. You get to talk about sports. I remember I heard Shannon Sharp talk about this. He said when they first started Nightcap, it's supposed to have been just to talk about late night games, and all of a sudden they was on 2.5 hours and didn't realize it. So that's where we're gonna have to set a timer because you get to talk about football, man. It'll be 2 or 3 hours. My wife will be calling me, and then you'll look over your shoulder. Carrie will be looking at you like, okay, enough
She
is
already
enough.
is. Don't.
Enough is enough now. These TV shows, they supposed to last no hour and a half. So we got past our first show. This is what we want y'all guys to do. Look at the show, share it with somebody. And I want y'all to look at the show. Look at what we talked about. Comment in the comment section and shoot us some ideas of what you think we ought to inbox either one of us. Tell us some things that you want to talk about. If anybody want to come on, let us know. And every week we'll try to have a guest. I'm going to do it this week, and I do want to have I want to have Marcus on. For some reason I don't. I want to bring him on for us just for a section to talk to him about because he said something in the paper that I want him to just share. He said something that it was so simple, but it has such a powerful statement. He just said, "I'm just tired of losing." He said, "I'm just tired of losing," and I just want to pick his brain and we'll brace him for it, and we'll shoot him the link so he can join on with us next week for a segment. But we're going to talk football, and we're going to talk other sports, and we're going to talk what go on in the sports world and everything. But man, hey, good first one, I think. And I'm even going to go back and watch it again. I'm going to critique myself. I'm going to work better on our graphics and make sure our graphics get a little bit better. And you said I was going to be highlighted, but as you can see, it's working. My lights is working pretty good.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're glowing over there, Coach. I've got one light above me. That's all I'm working with.
So we will see you guys next week. Ole Miss play. What time do Ole Miss play next week?
Is that not a 2:30 game?
I sure hope so. Ole Miss Tulane is at 2:30.
Yeah.
So let's do this next week. I know I have a church service I got to be at Sunday. Let's get on Saturday night and let's talk about the game and talk about the games and then prep everybody for the NFL game next Saturday.
That works for me.
So we'll see you guys next Saturday. I'm the coach. He the coach. We coach and coach, and it's a football show. And we're going to change that name. We're just gonna call it Coach and Coach, because people are gonna think it's just football. If we got to talk tennis, we'll talk tennis. Even though I was very upset that week when football was on and they talking about the U.S. Open, man, I was starting to throw something at the TV. I've been waiting 6 months. I've been waiting 6 months for college football, and you talking about the tennis U.S. Open.
I got to play. It's ESPN contract, man. They got to play.
I should have sent something and had him fired because I've been waiting for football for 6 months. I don't want to talk about no tennis at this point. But we thank everybody that came on with us, people that comment on it. I promise you, I do a little bit better on looking at the comments and trying to talk back to you guys. But I'm where I'm at. He's where he is. But we both coaches, and we'll see you next week, guys.
See you.